What is up guys, CG here. In this video I'm going to keep the video short and sweet because I want to test and see if this has better feedback than like me explaining every card. So I'll explain the commander, right? So commander is Goldbug, humanity's ally. He's a legendary artifact creature robot. And it has the effect more than meets the eye for white and blue. Then you can play him for that converted mana cost, and then he comes in transformed. He reads, if you just cast him, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking humans you control. And then he reads whenever you cast your second spell each turn, convert Goldbug. Then the other side, Goldbug Scrappy Scout. He's a 1/3 living metal vehicle that says whenever human spells you control can't be countered. And then he reads whenever Goldbug and at least one other human attacks, draw a card and convert Goldbug. So the name of the game is play human, attack with him and Goldbug. You don't take combat damage, but you draw every attack phase, and you want to use Goldbug's ability to draw into better cards or your answers. So first off, we have Archetype of Courage. Basically, gives your creatures hexproof and gives them first strike and removes first strike from opponents. Archetype of Imagination. Creatures you control have flying and then removes flying from the opponent. Then we have Aven Mind Sensor, which a lot of people may know. With him on a battlefield, you may only search for the opponents. If an opponent would search, they can only look at the top 4. Baird, Steward of Argiv. It's a 4 mana 2/4 that stops your opponent from attacking you unless they pay 1 for each creature. Then we have Cathar Commando, 2 mana with flash, and then you can sacrifice her to destroy artifact or enchantment. Coppercoat Vanguard gives humans +1 and has ward. Also protects your humans. Then we have Crusader of Odric. Her power and toughness grows the more creatures you control. Then we have Harbin Vanguard Aviator. Whenever you attack with 5 or more soldiers, creatures you control get +1/+1, gain flying, and him himself is a flying 2/1 human soldier. Then Knight of the White Orchard. For 2 mana, when he enters and the opponent controls more lands than you may search the plains and put it on the battlefield. Not tapped, on the battlefield. And then if you have a land in hand, you can play that. Then we have Mentor of the Meek. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card. Then we have Odric Master Tactician. This is gonna help you win in this deck. His ability basically states that you can declare no blockers for the enemy and then just attack for lethal if you have it on board. Then we have Oji, the Exquisite Blade. When she enters, you gain 2 life and strike 2, and then whenever you cast your second spell each turn, exile up to 1 target creature you control, then return into the battlefield under its owner's control. Then we have Paragon of New Dawn. This is a lord to buff your white creatures. Siege Veteran. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+ encounter on target creature you control. And then whenever another non-token soldier you control dies, create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. Then we have Sky Strike Officer, a 2/3 flying human soldier that when he attacks, you create a 1/1 soldier artifact creature token. And then you can tap 3 untapped soldiers you control to draw a card. Sun Titan, whenever he enters a battlefield or attacks, put a permanent with converted mana cost 3 or less from a graveyard to the battlefield. Then we have the Council of 4, which is a secret commander in this deck. Whenever opponent draws whenever a player draws their second card during your turn, you draw a card, and during their turn, sorry. And then whenever a player casts their second spell, you create a 2/2 white knight creature token. Then we have Yotian Tactician, 4 mana 3/4 human wizard that acts as a lord for your other soldiers. Then our sorceries are Lay Down Arms, which is a 1 mana exile target creature with a mana value less than or equal to the number of planes you control. Its controller gains 3 life. and you run a lot of planes in this deck, so you will definitely have this make you like gain you value. Mass Appeal, draw a card for each human you control. You'll have a lot of humans. Runic Shot, which is a sorcery, and if it was kicked, I mean, you destroy target tapped creature, but if it was kicked, you scry 2. Then we have Scour All Possibilities, 2 mana, scry 2, draw a card with a flashback 5. Then we have Azorius Charm, which is a 2 mana instant that has 3 abilities. Creatures you control can lifelink until end of turn. You draw a card, or you put target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library. Then Blink of an Eye to get rid of permanents to their owner's hand. Call the Copper Coats. This is used to create you a white soldier humans. Then we have Cancel, which is just solid counter magic. Condemn puts target attacking creature on the bottom of its owner's library. If you use this on a commander, they either need to bottom the commander, or they send it to the command zone, and the choice isn't that difficult. You usually send it to the command zone because you're not going to draw into it. Then we have Deliberate, which is a 2 mana instant that reads scry to draw a card. Dispel just counters any instant. Ertai Scorn counters target spell unless, and it costs 1 blue less if opponent casts 2 or more spells this turn. Flare of Faith, you give a creature +2/+2. If it was human, it gets +3/+3 and gains indestructible. It can be used to protect your humans from being destroyed, and they can also act as a buff and a combat trick. Then we have Make a Stand, 3 mana, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain indestructible until end of turn. Negate counters target non-creature spell. We have Opt to scry 1, draw a card. Usually you want to play this to fuel up the flip side of, activate the flip side of Goldbug. Then Sinister Sabotage, 3 mana, counter target spell. And for 1 mana you can Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce counters a non-creature spell unless they pay 2. Stave Off just gives your creature protection from color of your choice. Then Supreme Will, for 3 mana you counter target spell unless its controller pays 3, or you look at the top 4 cards of your library, which can also, it can be used as counter magic, or if you have mana open, just dig down into your deck to get for other pieces. Then we have Unbreakable Formation, 3 mana. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. If it was cast during your main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures, and they gain vigilance until end of turn. Also a good combat trick, or if you want to set up for a lethal attack, it's also good. Unsummon returns a creature to its owner's hand. Whirlwind Denial, for each spell and ability your opponent controls, counter it unless its controller pays 4. Then we have your temple is under attack. Creatures you control gain indestructible, or you and target opponent each draw 2 cards. Then let's get into the artifacts, which is mostly ramp spells. We have Arcane Signet to tap for any color, but costs 2 and then taps for any color of your commander's identity. Azorius Locket, 3 mana, taps for white or blue. Commander Sphere, taps for any color, but you can sacrifice it to draw a card. Then we have Hedron Archive, costs 4 but taps for 2, and then for 2 mana you can sacrifice it to draw a card. Marble Diamond, 2 mana, comes in tap, but you can tap it for white. Then Mindstone, costs 2 but taps for 1, or you can sacrifice it to draw a card. Prismatic Lens, same story, but you can sacrifice it to draw a card. Pristine Talisman, for 3 mana you add 1 colorless to your mana pool and then you gain 1 life. Then we have Sky Diamond, 2 mana, artifact, comes in tapped but taps for 1 blue. Then we have All Reliable Soul Ring, which is 1 mana and taps for 2 mana. And then we have Swiftfoot Boots, it's an equipment, 2 mana equipment that gives the equipped creature hexproof and haste, and then the equip costs 1 mana. You can use this on any human or Goldbug to start attacking once it is equipped. Then we have Banishing Light under the enchantments. You exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Banishing Light leaves the battlefield. just to control some pieces, maybe get rid of artifacts, enchantments, or basically any permanent. Then you have Military Intelligence. It's a 2-mana enchantment that lets you draw a card if you attack with 2 or more creatures. Then we have 9 lives paired with Solemnity. It's quite an interesting synergy. Solemnity stops you from getting counters, and 9 lives prevents damage and gets counters. And if it has 9 counters, you lose the game, or if 9 lives leaves the battlefield. But you will protect that, and then you basically have a damage lock, not life loss, but like a damage loss. So you can't be killed through combat. Then we have Oblivion Ring, 3 mana, exile target non-land permanent from the game. When it leaves, you return that card to its owner's control. Omen of the Sea, 2 mana enchantment that has flash, and then you scry 2 and draw a card. Then quite an interesting combo that I added was Shifting Sky, Teferi's Moat, and Wrath of Marred Lage. So Shifting Sky reads, as Shifting Sky comes into play, choose a color. On non-land, permanents are the chosen color. Then with the Teferi's Moat, you come in and you choose a color, and then creatures of its chosen color without flying can't attack. But then lastly, we have Wrath of Marred Lage, which says when Wrath of Marred Lage comes into play, tap all red creatures. Red creatures don't untap during their controller's untap steps. So with Shifting Sky, you name red, you play Wrath of Marred Lage, all red creatures can't untap, and with the Fairies Mode, creatures of the chosen color can't attack you without flying. Yeah, so it's essentially a combat lock that stops all combat steps and phases. Then we also have Verity Circle, which is a 3 mana enchantment. Whenever a creature an opponent control becomes tapped, if it wasn't declared as an attacker, you draw a card. So essentially, if someone taps a mana dork, it will net you a card. It's also a May ability, so you don't need to completely deck yourself. So with Shifting Sky and the Fairies Mode, I think it's essentially where the Fairies Mode by itself, you can name a color, and then that chosen color cannot attack you if it doesn't have flying. And with Archetype of Imagination, you stop and give everything loses flying, and your creatures gain flying. So you can still attack. I think Wrath of Marred Lage might be a bit risky because it says red creatures don't untap during their untap step, but it's good tech against red as well. And with the Fairies Mode and Shifting Sky, specifically with the Fairies Mode, you can lock someone from attacking you out of the game if their commander is that chosen color. But anyways, that was it for me for tonight's video. If you like this shorter and sweeter type of content, please let me know. I'm trying to streamline the process a little bit, see what works and what you guys like. If you want more flexed out explanations of a deck, just let me know. I do not. Okay, so this video is 30 minutes compared to, let's say, 30 minutes or 25 minutes. If this shorter type of content is something that you guys like more than the longer videos, let me know and I will make the adjustment. But anyways, guys, see you guys in the next video and stay safe.